Live.
Let me be your nerd. Let me be your nerd now. I'm saying, baby, 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 baby.
What the hell was that?
Welcome to the Grizzled Geek Podcast, episode 89. I'm Mike.
I'm Doug.
And we're here with your weekly wrap-up of nerd news. This is the podcast where two middle-aged guys goob about nerd stuff. If you like your news a week old, this is where you need to come, right here. And a lot of you guys are listening to us, especially now that we got our Libsyn kind of fixed. And all you guys out there in podcast land, want to thank you guys for joining us and listening. If you'd like to check out and see our faces, we're over at youtube.com/The Grizzled Geek. And for those of you on Facebook, hey, thank you. We appreciate you. We see you.
I don't.
Yeah. We're trying to catch up. We got a lot of people who were commenting about a lot of old videos, and I'm trying to catch up with all those. Just keep popping up. We're getting a lot of people listening to old videos, so that's good. Commenting on them. So, Matt doesn't listen. He doesn't listen to us all. He watches because because he wants to see our faces, and I don't blame him. I don't blame him, and if you do too, check us out on YouTube. But we are the podcast that kicks off your Nerd Friday night, and afterwards, you've got a choice. If you want to learn about comics and continue the nerd conversation, you can check out our brothers from another podcast, the Absolute Geek Podcast. Check them out. They start at 7:30, or if you want to listen to us talk about game stuff, you can check out our podcast on gaming that we're going to be kicking off here soon over on the Grizzled War Master page. And we'll have more about that coming up next week. But welcome, Charlie Tango. Yes, we are. Thanks, guys. Got to stay up on the competition. Nice, Matt. Sweet. So we've got our show for you today. We got a lot to talk about. We are going to talk about primarily Loki. That's going to be our main topic of conversation here. But before we jump into that, Doug, is there anything you want to update anybody on? Anything you want to say? What have you been doing? What are you excited about?
Building lots of miniatures.
A lot of miniature nerd stuff?
Yeah. Let's see. Excited about. I'm got a notice from AMC the other day that tickets for the Jungle Cruise is on sale now. So I'm
nice.
Looking at that. I don't think Melissa's quite ready to go back to theaters, but I want to see it in the theaters. So we'll see.
I'll go with you and check it out, Doug.
It looks awesome. It looks like The Mummy meets Disney.
Yeah.
Or The Mummy / Indiana Jones kind of romp, a little more lighthearted like The Mummy than, like a little more serious like Indiana Jones. So, but it looks awesome. I can't wait.
Well, I like The Rock, so,
yeah.
I'll check out
he's
in.
He's awesome in all of his movies. So, especially when he goes more like tongue in cheek, willing to make poke fun at himself, like he's done in what was it, Secret? Was it CIA? Was that the name of the movie where he is the CIA agent who wears the unicorn T-shirts? It was awesome.
All right, fair enough. So Loki wrapped up this week. We've got the series finale. So we're going to talk a little bit about it, guys, and what we thought. And if you have not seen it, beware. There is spoilers ahead.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about the series. So I know we said we couldn't rate this series until we saw it. Central Intelligence. There we go. That's
Okay. Yeah.
there, Matt with the facts.
It's amazing.
So now that we've got the entire series under our belt, Doug, how do you feel? We've got 3 Disney Plus Marvel series now completed. What do you think of Loki as a whole?
It's the 3rd best Marvel show out.
Okay, fair enough. Does that mean?
I didn't. The last episode didn't do it for me. It was a steep cliff that it dropped off of from the episode before.
Yeah.
I did not like the info dump that was the episode. It was basically just, hey, let me tell you the entire plot of the last 5 episodes and give you
let me set up phase 4 for you.
Yeah, let me set up phase 4 for you. That was it. I was just, and you never responded to me, but I sent you a Facebook message like, what the crap was that? I was just like, Melissa and I finished watching and we looked at each other and we were like, was that good? How am I supposed to feel about this?
Yeah. I enjoyed it in the fact that I love Jonathan Majors' performance, right? As Pseudo King.
I'm looking forward to him as King.
I didn't know.
I just have to say that.
I have not. The only thing I saw him in was, was it the HBO Cthulhu series? Was that Lovecraft Country?
Yeah,
so,
Lovecraft Country.
Yeah, he was really good in that. I liked him, but I didn't know, what kind of range he had. But now, after seeing him just chew the scene in this one episode of Loki, I'm like, now I'm looking forward to what he can do as Kang when he shows up as Kang. So I was excited about that. I'm excited that they went that route with Kang. And I'm excited about what it did set up for, the Multiverse of Madness. Now, again, I kind of agree with you. It was kind of an info dump of an episode, and I was expecting a little bit more. The only fighting we got was between Loki and Sylvie again.
I don't necessarily care that there wasn't tons of fighting. I just don't like the plot read to me. So it's funny because I don't know if this were not a Marvel movie. I don't know how many people would be going, yeah, I loved that 30 minutes of just, monologuing the plot of the 6-episode series. But I think a lot of people will look at Major's performance. Majors, right?
Yeah.
What's his?
How could you forget that name? It's a great name.
Yeah, that's why I was like,
Jonathan
wait,
Majors.
I just his performance, Loki's performance. I wasn't particularly. I've liked Sylvie the last couple episodes, but she was kind of. Like somebody hit the reset button on her, and it's like, well, let's just go back to where you were, and you didn't grow or develop at all during the series.
Yeah, so. I mean, she's the only one who didn't really grow character-wise. She was at the exact same place where we met her.
She looped back too. She had grown to that point, and then he says one little phrase to her, and she loops back. So we turned into Peter Quill. That was a good dig at Peter Quill. That was good.
Yeah. Try to tangle with the.
Now, I think the best thing I can say about this ending is they left all the pieces on the table.
Yes.
So we can still have Mobius. We can still have Sylvie. We can still have Loki. We'll
even
still
Renslayer's
have a
out there.
Renslayer's out there someplace.
Yeah.
The TVA in a different form. Although I really want the TVA to stay here. It should not go out into the MCU as a whole because it's really just too over the top powerful.
Yeah.
It either needs to stick to the Loki series or in the course of the next few movies that deal with these kind of things, like the Spider-Man, and then Doctor Strange, that it should be torn down if it's gonna be access to the wider MCU, because it just seems like it's a little over the top.
Fair enough. Yes, they did. They opened all the doors. It's here. I like that they, like you said, they left all the pieces on the table. It's all potential at this point, what they're going to do. And we're going to talk a little bit about what Kevin Feige had to say about that here in just a little bit. But I don't know. I like the series, but I got to say,
Yeah.
I think I agree with you. I think I liked it more than you did, but I got to agree with you that I liked WandaVision and Falcon the Winter Soldier better.
Yeah.
Than this
I mean,
series.
here's the thing is I like everything this did. It just did it in the wrong way, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
There was plenty there for this to go 2 more episodes and to dribble out this information and get more time with Mobius wanting to tear down the TVA. We never even, I mean, I guess the implication here is that this is the type of reset that happens all the time. And this is how he gets, the stains on the table that he's wondering why, I don't, I always use a coaster. You must have another agent. It's like, no, it was you. So I don't know if that was, they never explored that, which is kind of disappointing. I mean, they kind of imply that, but then Renslayer's not there. So I don't know.
Yeah. I kind of agree with you.
Threads they just let go.
I don't think this is going to be, we're not going to see the TVA until until season 2, right? Like we're going to see, we'll see Loki, we'll see some of the other characters, but we won't see the TVA, right?
Right. Yeah.
Until the second season of Loki. I think there'll be what happened in this series is going to be addressed in other movies. It has to be, but I don't think they're going to, I think this is a great move because think about it this way, what this implies. Now that everything's broke open, anything is possible, which means any cameo, any switch of characters they want to do, right?
And we've established Loki looks different in every timeline.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
Not in every, in a lot of timelines.
In a lot of
them.
them.
So if you bring somebody a different actor, they're from a different multiverse.
Matt thinks we're going to see it again. I think. I mean, I don't think we'll see the TVA. I think we may see people from the TVA, and it might get mentioned in other movies, but I don't think we're actually going to come back to the TVA until season 2. But maybe we'll see what happens.
I don't think they're going to be in Ant-Man and the Wasp. I actually think that what we're going to get in Ant-Man and the Wasp is one of the alternates or variants.
The Kang variant.
Kang that was hiding out, that was never pruned from the sacred timeline.
Right.
And
he's trapped.
Now he senses that it's open, that the guy who stood against him is gone, that he can come out and start doing stuff.
And the way they set it up is great because it's just like Kang in the comics, right? They kill him off and he always comes back, right? Another version of Kang. So, I mean, I like it. I like Jonathan Majors as Kang. I can't wait to see what's going to happen in the future. If we do see the TVA again, I'm not going to be upset. But if I had to bet, I would say we're not. So, out of this series, Doug, what was your favorite episode or your favorite moment?
I think that episode 5 was the best. The whole
episode 5?
With the alternate Lokis and cooking up the plan to get to the end of time and all that
the
stuff.
Easter egg episode? Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. I mean, I can't argue with that.
Yeah. I mean, 1 and 2 were the weakest. No, sorry.
No, 3 and
3. 2 and 3 were the weakest. 1 was
2.
Good.
I was actually excited at the end of 2 because 2 is the first flip, where I thought, okay, this is where I think it's going, and all of a sudden it flipped it. It's like, oh no, this is happening now, kind of thing. I like that.
Right.
3, I think, is where it started to drag because 3 was like the filler episode, which should have been the get to know Sylvie episode, and we really didn't learn much about her, right?
No.
But we did end up learning more about her later on, and I'll end up liking her. But that should have been the episode, right? Should have been more focused on her. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. 10 minutes plot, and then 45 minutes just filler.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I like some filler, but that was just, in a 6-episode series, we can't afford to have an entire episode of filler. I mean, some people say 5 was filler too, but 5 actually advanced the plot, right?
Yeah,
And
I think it was good.
And the filler part was filled with the nostalgia and Easter eggs, and I'm all for that. So
Yeah. The interesting thing, I think that we got that it's a 10-minute plot and a 45-minute episode. I feel like 6 was a 3-episode plot shoved into one. So
yeah, they saved all the plot till the end.
Yeah, it's like this could have been dribbled out a lot more. Like Renslayer could have learned stuff, not just we're just gonna mysteriously. It felt like setup. It's like this episode sets up.
It wasn't even really cliffhanger ending, but yeah.
Yeah, cliffhanger should be the last 5 or 10 minutes. Lets you go, oh, the story's going to continue. Not like, hey, I'm going to lay out for you the stakes in the what do you call it? Now I'm blanking on
Multiverse.
the term. Phase 4.
Phase 4.
Like, here's the phase 4. What's at stake and what everything's going to kind of resolve around. Oh, and in the meantime, we're also going to set up season 2 of this series. And
yeah. I got to agree with Matt here. It was a slow burn season. I like the payoff at the end because it just opened up phase 4 for us, right? It gets us to where we knew phase 4 was going, and in a great way with Kang, right? It wasn't just going to be alluded to. Like if it was just I'm glad it was Kang and not just like an alternate version of Loki, like people were expecting, because it sets up that new Thanos style villain, right?
It was interesting that they decided to call him the one who remains,
right,
instead of Immortus. So I'm kind of wondering what the decision making was there.
Well, they do kind of. The MCU does like to kind of cram characters together, or like kind of take different characters and mix them as one. Because like look at Sylvie, she's the Enchantress and female Loki is one character, right?
Yeah.
But like Matt said, this is like big payoff. Where's this going from here? We're going to see Kang. We know that's going to happen. We know Kang's going to be the next big bad guy here, and they set him up really well in this. And we know that it opens the multiverse. Like we said, they can pretty much do anything now. Recast, bring in old characters that played these characters in the past, right? They can bring in the X-Men. They can explain mutants. They can bring in Fantastic Four, right? Without having where were these guys during Thanos? So it opens up all those possibilities. In fact, Kevin Feige in an interview opened up on the future of the multiverse and its rules, because apparently they're like he had to have a meeting to sit down for the rules for the multiverse, right? So there's a quote from Kevin Feige. He says the interconnectivity there that people have always stated have already started to see and suss out. I had a meeting this morning with the whole broad Marvel Studios team going through the multiverse and the rules of the multiverse and exactly how to really deliver on the excitement surrounding the multiverse. In the same way, the multiverse is something we geek out about. We really love all the storytelling potential it brings, but thought we had to dull it out in what it was, and introduce the concept briefly in Doctor Strange, and then the big fake out about it in Spider-Man Far From Home, right? And not just kind of like throw it out there all at once. So here's the multiverse. They had to get people used to the idea of the multiverse because not everybody that watched this stuff is diehard comic fans like us. Charlie Tango said we'll see an Immortus version, the Conqueror version. There's like different versions of Kang. So, which is, that's Kang. But, I mean, I think it was funny that they're like, okay, whoa. Before we jump head first, we're already into phase 4, right? Mm-hmm. Stuff's already happening. He's like, let's got to sit down and suss out the rules for this, right? And I agree. You're trying to think that was a smart way to do it, right? And then Tom Hiddleston was excited. He's excited for season 2, right? And he was talking to people about, said he's willing to play Loki for life, pretty much. So he'll play Loki till, he's too old to do it, right? He has a quote here. He's like, I'm so grateful that we got to do season 1. I'm still not quite able to process that we get to have another go at this. I'm so excited by the possibilities. He enthused. And we're already in discussions, deep in discussions. I can't wait to get started. So they're already figuring out what they're going to do with season 2. And I agree, which was it'll be depend on when season 2 comes out, right?
Mm-hmm.
See, like, whether it's going to be, after or before Ant-Man Quantumania, or, if it's going to be next year, or is it going to be, they have a ton of Disney series coming out this next year, right? Are these the kind of series that you skip a year or whatever to bring them out, or are they every year things? But I mean,
there are so many things on the lineup. You got to imagine we've got at least 9 months, probably closer to 12, before this season 2 comes out.
Yeah,
because we've still got Hawkeye, Moon Knight, She-Hulk,
Miss Marvel.
Miss Marvel. All of that is theoretically going to come out before season 2.
Right, because they're already in production or done, and season 2 is just now getting discussed. So it's going to be a bit. So I wouldn't mind that. We're just constantly getting Marvel series. I don't mind waiting, like, a year.
It is nice to switch it up, because that was the thing that I'm not real a fan of, ranking these series, especially not yet with only 3 under the belt, because there are such different things. They scratch a different itch.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have that kind of variety. Then we'll get back to Hawkeye. Will be probably more of an action thing, kind of like Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And then we'll, loop around to, Moon Knight. It's going to be probably kind of dark and brooding and, psychological stuff going on. And then you have She-Hulk, which is probably just going to be strange and goofy. Who knows what all is going to go on. So,
yeah. No, I agree. But Hiddleston did confirm that he's going to be, he kind of dropped the bomb that he's going to be in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, which makes complete sense.
I wouldn't be surprised if Sylvie were in it too.
Right, yeah.
Because I have a feeling she's going to be like a Kang hunter. She's got access to all of the technology and all of the information that the one who reigns had in his castle.
That's true.
Including the device that will let her to continue to loop it around to not exit time or whatever was happening to it.
Right.
So
she's adept at traveling through time and hide out in the timeline. So
it would be awesome to have her just running around with TVA level technology and hunting down versions of Kang.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome. I'd be down for that. But yeah, I mean, we're going to see these characters again. Like I said, it makes sense to have, with this much involvement in the multiverse, it would make sense for Loki to be involved in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. So now the question is, how much does Spider-Man play into this multiverse aspect of it, right? With all these different cameos we know is happening, and the ones that are rumored to happen in that movie, and then roll into Doctor Strange, which is going to be crazy with Wanda and Loki, and it could be like a mini Avengers type,
Mm-hmm.
But there you have it, guys. I enjoyed Loki. It was good. Wasn't my favorite of the Marvel series. I think I'm more excited about the potential for Phase 4 that it brought us, as opposed to what we actually got in it. And I'm super excited about Jonathan Majors' Kang. So
yeah, I think he is good. I like his performance. He strikes me as the type of actor who's going to be able to totally change up each Kang to be vastly different.
Exactly.
Like this one was I'm gone slightly crazy because I've been alive for all of time trying to keep the timeline together, versus a more megalomaniacal version of him or whatever. So it's interesting.
Matt's going to break down how Spider-Man is going to play into it tonight. He's got the breakdown. So if you want the scoop on how Spider-Man No Way Home is going to play into the multiverse, check out the Absolute Geek podcast after us. Thanks, Matt. Boom. All right. Want to move on to the Dark Avengers?
Sure.
Right.
Well, are the Dark Avengers coming to the MCU? Kevin Feige teases that Valentina Allegra de Fontaine's grand plan in the MCU could be leading that way, I guess.
Yeah.
She recruited Yelena Belova to take out Hawkeye, which, why? That's interesting.
Yeah.
She was also responsible for giving John Walker a new purpose when she, made him into U.S. agent. And Feige said, yes, she is. She seems to be in recruitment mode. He teased, does Yelena already work for her? They seem to have a connection at that point. Yes. Then talking about Val's possible MCU future, Feige added, the notion of bringing her into the world was always something, if we could find the right thing, was something we wanted to do. I love these quotes where they're just kind of stream of consciousness.
Yeah, he just got rambling. They got to quote it exactly, but it's all.
Yeah, and when this role came about and the opportunity to have her in Widow and Falcon and maybe in some other things coming up, incomplete sentence, she just stops there. And then talking about Julia Louis-Dreyfus, he said was totally on board and really into it. So it's an amazing addition to the world, and I look forward to people being surprised by just where she'll show up next.
Right.
And I do have to say, I never really thought of Julia Louis-Dreyfus as a serious actress, but she's been pretty good because she brings that little bit of humor to it, but also you get this kind of subtle sense of menace underneath. So
yeah,
interesting.
So yeah, exactly. And she's building a team. We know it. She's already got 2 recruits. So everyone's pointing out, like, is it Dark Avengers? Is this what's coming up here? Which Norman Osborn put together in the comics, Dark Avengers.
I think it's more Thunderbolts than Dark Avengers.
Yes.
Jeez.
Yeah. Oh, yep. So I mean, I agree. Everyone's like saying Dark Avengers because they're kind of. But yeah, the anti-heroes.
They're creating a dark version of the Avengers kind of thing. But that's realistically, that is also what the Thunderbolts were.
Yeah.
They
That's true.
I think the Dark Avengers came around because the Thunderbolts eventually became good guys. So you had to go, oh wait, we need to reset and do another evil version of the good guys.
Yeah. So speculation on who's she going to recruit next, who's going to be on her team. I think Abomination is pretty much a shoo-in because they've been wanting to bring him back. We know he's coming back for She-Hulk. We got surprised that he's going to be in Shang-Chi, right?
I would not be surprised if there were a post-credit scene in Shang-Chi with her talking to Abomination.
Yeah. So I mean, that's just one I can think of. And for like an Iron Man character, there's not one out there right now, but Armor Wars series is coming up, right? Which could easily introduce who knows? They kind of teased with the Crimson Dynamo, and they mentioned his name in Black Widow as a joke, or Titanium Man, or even funny. Any of the armored people show up.
See, I still lean towards the. I still think it's going to be the Thunderbolts. I think she's going to recruit Zemo.
Zemo, yeah.
Since he's in custody of,
Yeah, she can get him
all
out.
Government. They really don't. I mean, is it the
raft.
UN? Is it the?
Well,
is it the
Ross
US?
was in charge of it before in Civil War, right?
Yeah, but he was also operating freely in Eastern Europe somewhere, maybe even Russia, in Black Widow. So you're like,
I think the U.S. has far more. Borders. I think they have far more power in the MCU world when like all the majority of the world's heroes are in the U.S.
Maybe,
right?
Yeah.
And they saved, the world, the universe. I think the U.S. has a little more power, a little more muscle, in that world than ours. But but who knows? There's so many people out there that kind of left hanging, like White Vision. Yeah, White Vision out there that could join, right? So I'm excited to see what this turns out, and what they're going to be doing with it because they seem to be. I don't know. I mean, like Walker's basically a good guy. He's just, you know,
and
got
I think
PTSD.
Yelena kind of is too.
Yeah.
I think, Nat's kind of rubbed off on her. She didn't like being part of the Red Room thing.
Right.
She like, Zola, he's dead.
Well, the computer, his brain could have survived, right?
Yeah. I mean, if there was a backup tape someplace.
Right.
Sure.
Exactly.
Although they really made it seem like the best we could do was this whole giant computerized complex.
Giant room of tape drives.
And then we decided it wasn't worth doing anything else with.
Right.
So,
well, maybe they just left the tape drives there. Someone went in there later on with a thumb drive and went, okay, let's download them onto this. And, they just left the tape drives down. Put a room full of tape drives on this thumb drive.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. In Secret Invasion. We need somebody to.
Maybe.
There's a possibilities that are that are happening with coming into Phase 4. I got to tell you, I'm a lot more excited about Phase 4 than I was after Phase 3 ended. Right.
Oh right, yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, because I think you really needed to have
Solo. Yeah, I mean it's we lost Iron Man, we lost Captain America, right? My favorite characters. I was like, okay, I'm not sure where this is going, and I'm like Shang-Chi, Eternals. I'm like, okay, I guess. You know what I mean? But now, the more I see that's coming out, the more they've set up Phase 4 and the TV series, how they're playing into it. I'm way more excited about Phase 4 now than I was at the end of Phase 3.
Right.
So,
interesting. I'm kind of curious whether or not this is, her. I know she's in an end credit scene here at, in Black Widow, but what's the possibility that she's just building a team for TV shows? That she and whatever team they build is strictly on the TV side, not on the movie side.
Could be, right? But I mean, they want to. The whole point of combining the studios was so they could interchange TV and movies, right?
Yeah.
But here, I hear what the argument against that is: movies are the bread and butter, right? So they want the largest audience appeal possible in the movies, right? And even though that the TV series tie into those movies for like the fans, like the hardcore fans who know how they tie in, they don't want to make the movies so that the casual fan who didn't watch the series doesn't understand what's going on. So I don't think the TV series and the movies are going to tie in super closely, right? I mean, there'll be references, and you can see if you watch all of it, you'll see how it builds into one another. But if you're just a regular, I guess standard Marvel movie fan, you can watch the movies without having the TV series and still, get it.
Yeah. Although, man, I think they really want to get people subscribed to Disney Plus. So having that connection that's maybe not required, but certainly enhances is a big driver towards go get Disney Plus.
Yeah,
and then you can keep up on everything that's going on Marvel wise.
Yeah, Disney Plus is standard for me at this point. I gotta have it. If I get rid of one, it's gonna be HBO Max. But with what's coming out, I gotta have it.
Wait,
you think Loki changed the fact that you have to have? They're going to tie the movies into the into the series as well. I mean, they will tie in a bit, but I think they're going to keep the movies so you don't have to have watched the series to get what's going on. So I don't know. Oh, hang on. There we go. Another shameless plug from Matt. He's going to break that all down for us tonight, 7:30. So if you want to know what he's talking about, check out the Grizzled Geek podcast at 7:30.
Nice.
He's going to go into it. And Charlie Tangle's making some good points here. You know, the movies, the primary titles. You'll get just enough exposition in the films to get by without the series. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I don't think people that are expecting like these minor TV show characters to show up in movies, will be disappointed. I don't think Mobius is going to show up in a movie because people are going to go like, "Why is Owen Wilson in this?" Because the movies they want the broadest, target possible. But yet everybody that has seen Loki and watched the TV series, the hardcore fans will know. But all right, Doug, what do you think? Are you excited about Dark Avengers or Thunderbolts or where this is going?
Yeah, I'm curious to see where it goes because they've got a pretty wide open door now to do whatever.
Yeah. All right, guys. That's going to do it for our main stories, and now we're going to get into our smaller stories, our Geek Bites, our Nerd Nuggets. All right, guys. I'll kick us off here. Doug, did you see that? The Deadpool cord.
Yeah, I watched it.
Oh man, that was great.
The
reaction. So
it looks like he has 4 arms.
Yeah,
and the 2 bottom ones, he has some sort of gloves on.
Yeah, it was great. Is his unofficial debut in the MCU with an MCU character. It was great. So he recently shot that video, and now his nemesis, Hugh Jackman, aka Wolverine, has now posted a response, and he said Deadpool is officially in the MCU. He's started out with reaction videos, then some social influencer work into parks appearances, all leading up to some after credit work by 2030. And then later on, he added another comment. Wow, 4 minutes and 12 seconds and no mention of me? Deadpool, your therapy is working. So, yeah, I love it. I also love the fact, I know it's a pipe dream, but his teasing of coming to the MCU with the Wolverine claws and the picture of him and Feige, I just want to see it on screen. And the great news is you can, with the multiverse, this is another advantage of having the multiverse, you can have Jackman come in for a cameo part, right? And still recast him.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, the possibilities, just the sheer possibilities of what Loki opened up for us, I'm super excited about.
Yeah.
And I love the whole feud with Jackman and Reynolds.
Yeah.
And so, is that the Free Guy trailer? I think that's official. We see an MCU character and Deadpool on the same couch. That's official.
It's funny because
that's canon.
Taika Waititi's the bad guy in Free Guy, and obviously voices Korg, so it was cool to have him do that, and then for Marvel to let them do that.
Yeah.
So That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. I'm super excited. I can't wait for Deadpool 3 to have him finally in the MCU. All right, Doug, what do we got next?
All right. Warner Brothers recently revealed that the new trailer for Denis Villeneuve's Dune is coming exclusively to IMAX on July 21st and 22nd. And we now have a lovely new IMAX poster to accompany the announcement. What's coming out this weekend that they would put, or not this weekend?
Next weekend.
That would be next Wednesday and Thursday. I could see Thursday. I'm not sure why Wednesday.
Right.
But what's coming out next weekend that would be
what's replacing Black Widow in IMAX? I don't know.
I'll have to look that up. But yeah. So anyways, in addition, the MPAA has officially rated the movie PG-13 for sequences of strong violence, disturbing images, and suggestive material. We're also hearing that the runtime is 2 hours and 35 minutes.
How disturbing of images do you think we're going to get with this movie, Doug?
It probably stuff having to do with Harkonnen.
Yeah.
He's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Maybe some weird dream sequences. Maybe they're doing the guild
You know, say the guild member.
The guild guys will be all gross and deformed or whatever. I don't know. So, but yeah, that's cool.
The question is, can Denis Villeneuve out weird?
Well, I don't know.
David
He's
Lynch.
Out weird.
Can you out weird David Lynch? Is that possible? I don't think that's possible. I mean, granted, Dune was his most tame.
Well, right.
Movie,
and when you read the books, it isn't that weird. So you're, it's So I'm hopeful that he's gonna nail the aesthetic and stuff of the Dune universe, because
this is supposed to follow the books more closely than the movie, the '84 movie did.
That's good. So, because it didn't really. Well, I mean, it did to a degree, but not really.
Yeah, I just love the fact that they had Patrick Stewart playing Gurney in the original one, right? I mean, Josh Brolin's going to be cool as Gurney, but in fact, Josh Brolin probably looks more like they describe, although Gurney's supposed to be like short and ugly in the books. So,
well, because he's got a scar across his like neck and face, so it's like he's supposed to look, all messed up. Maybe they'll do that. I don't know. I don't know that we've seen. Oh, all right. Maybe Snake Eyes.
Snake Eyes getting the IMAX treatment. That'd be worth going to IMAX to see Snake Eyes. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. They've shown Josh Brolin as Gurney. He's not ugly. He's not the.
They didn't scar him up.
I think he might have a scar, but not like in the books.
Okay.
And he's not short. He's like a dwarf in the books, right? Like this he's short, ugly thing.
He's just like 5.5 feet tall or something like that.
Yeah.
He's just short compared to everybody else.
Compared to everybody else. Yeah. Still. Yeah.
He's like the size of the 13-year-old child that's
reading the book made me think of a dwarf. I'm like, oh, scarred up. Yeah. Short, stocky dude. All right. So, speaking of Black Widow has grossed $100 million at the domestic box office, and it did it in record time. So, during the pandemic era. So, Black Widow isn't the first movie during the pandemic era to gross $100 million at the box office, but is the fastest, just taking 6 days to hit that mark. So, just to give you some comparison, F9 took 8 days. A Quiet Place Part 2 did it in 15. Godzilla vs. Kong, which opened up when things were, quite a bit worse, took 12 weekends to manage it. Which just shows you how much things have changed since, in 3 months. But those are the only ones that hit it. I mean, I know $100 million for a Marvel movie. We're like, okay, well, it should be double that. But for the era that it's in, hell yeah, it got our money as well.
And they also made like $60 million on Disney Plus.
On $60 million on Disney Plus, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what. 2 million people that that ordered it on Disney Plus. That's a lot of people paying the $30 premium charge for it. Mm-hmm. So, it was, it's a sign. We went. You actually went on a limb. I was actually wondering. I was curious whether it'd make its money back, right? Well, being holding off like it did. But you were right. You said like it's going to make its money back, right? And globally, it looks like it's it'll make its money back by next week.
Right. We're only. Yeah, this is only the second weekend of it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it's doing okay. I mean, for this era, it would be a bomb in the before times, but
in the before times, I love it. Tell my kids about this time in the before times. Marvel movies made $1 billion.
Yeah. Right. Do you have something else on the Black Widow front?
I did, but now I lost it. I was going to say something about probably making fun of F9. Just assume I made it, some witty remark about.
I mean,
F9
This
sucking.
is turning out to be a normal, I'll put it in quotes, a normal blockbuster summer.
Yeah.
We've got a lineup of some really good movies that really look good and look interesting and exciting. So I'm looking forward to going to the movies quite a bit more this summer.
Yeah.
So that's cool to be getting back to that place.
I'm excited. It felt good to get back in the theater.
Yep.
Right. So I was excited about it. Sitting there in IMAX watching Black Widow. All right, Doug, tell us about The Rock.
All right. Black Adam star Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson confirms shooting has wrapped. A new behind-the-scenes video offers another glimpse at his costume and possibly the armored members of Intergang. We will not get any official look until DC Fandom, however.
Yeah.
So, and that's
Which is
in
what, September?
August
Is it
or
August?
September?
August,
I don't
September.
know if it's August is Comic-Con. So did it come out after Comic-Con?
Yeah, it does. It comes out after
Okay.
Comic-Con.
So yeah, probably September.
Which sucks because I'm like, I want to see something official about Black Adam. We get teases and glimpses,
Oh,
right?
it's not until October.
October? Oh,
October
wow.
16th.
We're not going to see Shazam stuff until October. Man,
apparently.
this is the problem with them not going to Comic-Con. Like, we'll wait till DC Fandom. I'm like, I want to see it now.
Right.
But yeah, but I guess that gives them time to put together. We might get a trailer at that point.
Oh
right?
yeah, I'm assuming there will be a trailer at Fandom.
Yeah.
Which hey, that might be enough to get me to actually pay attention to Fandom.
Yeah. Again, I want to see him and Shazam in the scene on the screen together, like Shazam with his foam muscles and Rock, who they had to take the foam muscles out of because they had the molded bodysuits for those characters, right? And he didn't fit in his because he's so big. So he's actually wearing Lycra. His costume is spandex because his real muscles are too big to fit into the mold that's sculpted. And they don't even do we're not even talking like the big giant foam muscles like Zachary Levi wears. His was just the costume was just the slightly molded. It's spandex, but they buff up the shoulders a little bit, the pecs kind of thing, But
I think that Suicide Squad will clear a little of the smoke.
Yeah,
to allow
I'm excited about Suicide
Squad to look through, to peek through.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of,
actually, you was talking about Suicide Squad. So the first social media reactions to Suicide Squad are in. They just did the other night. I think it was Wednesday. They did the press screening of the movie, and so everybody hit out to tweet about the movie, and it's been universally praised pretty much by all the critics. So here's what they're saying. It says it sounds like James Gunn has accomplished exactly what he set out to do by bringing us an insane, ultra-violent, and very funny movie. So far, James Gunn's first foray in the DC Films universe has received unanimous praise, with the R-rated adventure being called the best DCEU movie by some of the members. Which again, you can ask Charlie Tango. That's not exactly a high bar, but there have been some decent ones. So the fact that there's some people are calling it the best is reassuring. The performances are said to be top-notch, with Idris Elba, Bloodsport, Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn, and David Dashmalian's Polka Dot Man singled out as highlights. And I've heard that Polka Dot Man, we've heard about Peacemakers stealing the show and King Shark and stuff like that, but I've also heard that Polka Dot Man is really good in it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm super stoked for it.
The Starfish commercial.
The Star, yeah. The fact that they're fighting Starro. I mean, come on. If you're a big DC goober, you got to be excited about the fact that you're going to see live action Starro on the big screen, right? Yeah, and yeah, and the key to this is, like Charlie Tango said, it's not directed by Zack Snyder. So, yeah, I like everything James Gunn does, and this is he he does the quirky really well, and it paid off in Guardians of the Galaxy, and I think it's going to pay off again in Suicide Squad. The fact that the hard part will be wrapping your head around this and the first Suicide Squad movie, because some of the characters are the same, taking place in the same universe. So, yes. All right, 1 second here. I got to confirm something with my boss. I'm in a podcast. What are you doing?
Well, that was pretty much our last story. So, any other?
Is that it? We don't have anything else?
Yeah, that was it. That was the last one.
Oh, wow. Well, I will say
kind of
this.
a short one today.
It was. I will say this, guys. I am super excited about some of the upcoming projects we got working on here. We are mainly working on some stuff over on our gaming channel, the Grizzled War Master. So if you're into tabletop gaming, D&D, advice, anything like that, anything at all, be sure to check us out over there. We're putting up new stuff every week, and we got some stuff in the works that'll be coming out soon. You know, focusing on D&D. We have the podcast is going to be focusing on primarily Age of Sigmar Warhammer, but we'll talk about 40K and some other tabletop miniature games as the news permits. But we're going to be talking about that stuff. Age of Sigmar primarily because it's the game we play the most. And in fact, we're going to be playing it Sunday this week, right?
Sunday, yeah.
Not Saturday. Sunday this week.
Sunday at Imperial Outpost. So if you're in Arizona.
If you're in Arizona, in Glendale area, come on over to the Imperial Outpost Games and say hi. We'll be there rolling dice and playing Toy Soldiers for adults. So, and trying not to look at the Marvel Crisis game because it looks so cool. Marvel miniature game. I'm just like, don't look. I don't need another miniature game. But yeah, we got some stuff coming up here, guys. We have, for those of you who are RWBY fans, we have actually got some RWBY reaction AMVs edited and ready to schedule out there now because we had a drop there when Shane's computer crashed, who was our main editor for RWBY, and his laptop just couldn't handle. It wasn't made for editing. So, and I didn't have time to edit our RWBY stuff as well as, all the other, what other shows? Yeah, you're right. I don't, I have no excuse. I didn't edit the RWBY stuff, but I've tapped James, my son. He's finally edited some RWBY stuff. So we got some stuff coming out. Yay, Charlie Tango with our RWBY stuff coming out. So hopefully we'll be back on track where we can only film every other week for RWBY. We're trying to film more of them so we can actually have one every week to put out going forward. So by the end of the month, we should be back on track with RWBY. We're talking about doing some other reaction stuff here. And, of course, the podcast. Mm-hmm. And over on the game channel, we got a lot more. We got 2 new shows coming up and a podcast. So go ahead and check us out over there if that's what you're into. Be sure to tune in to the Absolute Geek podcast at 7:30 as Matt's going to break down exactly what's going to happen with the Multiverse of Madness and why Loki was so important to it. So be sure to check those guys out. Go over and give them some love. Tell them if you do, go over there and tell them the Grizzled Geek sent you in the chat. Just let them know. Otherwise, guys, I think that's going to do it for us. We're going to end this one a little early, 5-7 minutes early. Yep. Be sure to like, subscribe, share with your friends. You don't have to smash the like button like some of these people. You can be gentle with it as long as you're pressing it, right? Or the thumbs down. Either way, it's it's engagement. If you don't like the show, we have some people out there. We got some weird I got to tell you this. We might put together on our next RWBY one with answer some comments because we've been getting some weird comments, like angry about shows we did like 2 years ago, like videos we put out like 2 years ago. Like we're getting some angry comments about them, and we're like, wait a minute, I don't even remember what I said on this video. It was 2 years ago. I don't even know how to defend myself. But keep it coming. We like reading the comments, guys. We like having the interaction with you. Charlie Tango, you too. You have a great weekend as well. And we'll be back again next week. Same time, same channel. And we'll be having some more information about our new podcast as well. So we'll see you guys. Have a good one. And until next week.